If you didn't hear very much right there, and then that's kind of by design. This is the Ammoon electric ukulele, 21 inches from tip to bottom. It's actually a 13.5-inch scale instrument, making it a soprano instrument. It's made of solid okume wood, and it is really nicely finished in red. It was my only option. So to give you a little context with this instrument, I went to TMEA and met Chris Gilbert, and she had a J&D electric guitar. Let me change that. She had a J&D electric ukulele, and I was interested in that because it had a, not only was it quiet for practicing while other people might be sleeping in your house, which is when I do most of my ukulele play-along work, but it also has inputs for an audio source and a spot for headphones, not to mention a traditional pickup jack. And of course, two dials. One is volume, the other is tone, darker or brighter, really is where that goes. And it's pretty straightforward. And that was appealing to me because of the ukulele video work that I do. I could patch the iPad into this and then listen out with headphones. But when I got back and I looked at the price of the J&D electric ukuleles, they're about $200. And there's a Mahalo that's pretty much the same exact instrument. In fact, I think exactly the same instrument, just rebadged as J&D, which some of the ukulele companies do. And that one was $216, and I didn't want to do that. So I looked online and found this thing in a number of finishes in a number of places. It was on wish.com, it was on Amazon, it was on eBay, and finally found a spot on eBay that was selling it for $49 versus the going rate of most places from $65 to $80. And ironically, the same company that sells this on eBay for $50 has a listing on Amazon for it for $119. So anyway, it took a long time to get here. It took about 3 weeks, and I've had longer times to wait for an instrument from China. The box arrived kind of beat up, but that wasn't an issue because the instrument came packaged, and I will pull that stuff out right now. Came packaged inside of a travel bag. Very slim travel bag, but still, it's, you know, it's nice to have. A little bit of storage for it. And it came with extra, possibly fake Aquila strings, as well as a tuner. So, and it's kind of a weird tuner in the fact that it's positioned up and down. I'll turn it on here so you can see it. So it reads this way, but there's no way to turn it so that you can like clip it and flip it. So it's just kind of weird in that regard. It doesn't really totally flip the way that you'd want it to read it right. But hey, it's a free tuner that came with it as well, and that's the same kit that you'll get for $80 or $65 elsewhere, and the red was the only option. So I was okay with the red, and I was actually really surprised by the quality of the paint job. It's really nice. I mean, again, it does nothing to deaden the sound because that's not the point of this instrument. Now, when it arrived, the setup was incredibly high. It was well over a millimeter here at the first fret, and that's really high, hard to press for those bar chords or chords like B flat when you're playing at the first fret. And then the saddle was really high as well. I mean, at the 12th fret, it was over 4 millimeters. So I worked on it quite a bit to get it down to a point that I'm okay with. It could probably still go lower, but I'm done playing with it right now, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a second. The tuners are fine. They're sealed, standard chrome gear tuners. Nothing really special there, but at the same time, they work just fine. There's no loose play or anything in them. And there's a spot in the back for a 9-volt battery. And then also, this is where all the electronics are housed. So if you ever need to, you can get it in there and work on it, which I have, and I'll talk about that a little bit. I haven't done too much, but I'll mention that. And you just have that chrome jack. Now what's interesting is they give you this jack on the bottom that has a spot for a strap. That's nice. But then there's no strap button up here, which seems a little weird. You think that you'd want both. This thing is a little heavier than your typical ukulele. It's something like 1 pound 4 ounces or something like that with a battery in it, and that's really hefty for a ukulele compared to some of my other ukes. So you think that a strap would be part of that so you could hold it appropriately and do stuff with it. The fretboard appears to be made out of rosewood, as does the bridge down here. Bridge, I'm sure, is just screwed into place and glued, but screwed, which is just fine on a solid instrument. And that tells you that this is stock that probably exists before the trade restrictions started on rosewood. So just so you know, that came there. The Ammoon logo looks actually pretty nice up there. It's not overstated, so that's pretty nice. It's a very, very small headstock. Looks like the Close carbon fiber ukuleles that they started making. So very similar head shape to that. And there's really not too much else to say about it other than how it performs. And I made a video yesterday of the previous strings, the kind of fake Aquilas. It doesn't claim to have Aquila strings, but they sure do look like them. And I swapped them for some Aquila sugar strings that I just had because I wanted to do something a little different, especially as I was playing with the saddle. So, some other details about it. There's definitely a hiss that occurs out of the headphone jack when I'm using that line through feature to headphones. That's not really cool, so I'll deal with it, but that's not the greatest. And then my other big issue is that I'm now getting sound off of strings 3, 2, and 1, but I'm getting very little volume off the pickup off of string 4. And I've had the whole unit apart and I've tried shifting it, but when I shift it too far one way or the other, then I lose the volume either on both strings 1 and 4 or on string 1. So long story short is they have a very flat piezo pickup there, and piezo pickups, when they're not a cable pickup, and I may order one of those next, but the piezos are generally made for guitar, and guitar strings are closer together than ukulele strings when you get down to that part of the bridge. So the piezo, it has these little bumps where there's crystals that pick up the vibrations off of the saddle. And those bumps, and then there's a little valley, and then there's a bump, and then there's a valley. And the bumps are bigger, but they're not quite positioned right to work with this instrument. So I think that's why it's not getting the right kind of pickup. They think the company just cut the guitar piezo, tried to stick it in there and make it work, and that's not going to work. Easily swapped because it just plugs into the controls on the backside. So what I'll be doing is, what I've already done is ordered off of Amazon a ukulele piezo. We'll see if that does the trick and if it'll fit in there in the same spot. It should, and see if then I have pickup on all 4 strings, and then I won't have anything to worry about. The sound out the 1/4 inch or the 3.65 millimeter jack on the back is really good. There's none of that audio hiss, and the audio that's patched in through the aux in, and it's not labeled. That's a problem, but that's really clear as a bell. So I have no complaints there. It's all this weird hiss that comes out of there, and I'm not sure what to make sure out of. I'm not really sure what to make out of that. Now I did order. LA Uke is running an Indiegogo campaign right now where the creator has updated the electric peanut and the acoustic peanut, and they have a concert size, and concert is my favorite scale. So I pre-ordered one of those, and I'll be interested to see if the LA Uke's pickups here has the same issue with the hissing. I'm going to hope that it doesn't, and if it doesn't, LA Uke sells upgrade kits to their previous peanuts. And this thing should have just about the same internals as one of those LA Uke peanuts. And if so, I might pay to update that and put those things in here so that this becomes a fully functional device rather than something that I just kind of use because it's the only thing I've got like it. Again, the idea here is that when I am working on my play-alongs, my family's in bed asleep, and I don't want to keep them up at night while I'm doing that, even though I've been doing that for quite a while. Now, the rest of this video, originally I had set this up so that, I'll just explain the setup. It was set up so that my iPad was going into the Ammoon electric ukulele. I had headphones actually not going out of there. I had headphones going out of another deal. So then I was running an instrument cable into my Behringer. I have just a 2-channel in USB audio mixer sort of audio device, and then I was running that both to my headphones and then into my phone. What I found out later, I also had a microphone that I was holding and talking into, and I found out that on the iPhone it doesn't take both channels. So as I'm talking, there's no sound, but you do hear the Ammoon electric ukulele as I'm playing it. So what I'll do is I'll put some examples of the playing and maybe with a description underneath, but all of my talking is gone from that. Now, before I go to those clips and leave you with those clips, would I recommend this instrument? And the answer is probably, sadly, no. Both trying to flesh out the problems of the pickup and why it's not picking up evenly across all 4 strings, as well as the issues with the hissing there, and then most importantly for most players, the really, really bad setup. By the time that you spend the money fixing the problems here, there might be another solution that would be better for you. If you have to take this to a luthier to get adjusted for height for the action at both the nut and at the saddle, by the time that you're done with that cost, you may be, well, if you buy one of these off of Amazon for what, $79 or whatever, so you could return it if you didn't like it. By the time you had that $79 investment, you might have at least $50 of luthier cost or more, and added problems yet if you want to put in a different pickup or whatever. So I really can't say that it's a recommended unit, but it was definitely fun to play with. Also, I just want to show you, it has similarities, not totally, to my Ashbury Lonely Traveler ukulele. You can kind of see, except the Ashbury is an empty box, if you can see in there, whereas this is solid wood. And the other fun thing that's fun to compare it to is my Jamstick. This is the Jamstick 7, a wireless Bluetooth MIDI controller that pairs up with not only Jamstick's own apps on iOS and on Android, but also works with their own new Jamstick Play that works on Chrome, as well as with apps like Soundtrap. So, I mean, this thing literally doesn't make sound unless it's plugged in, but the size here and the form factor is not overwhelmingly different. And not hiding anything, I always bug the people at Jamstick to see if they'd be willing to make a jam uke or a uke stick as well. So anyway, it's been a fun project and probably maybe more buyer beware. I should say that the frets here are incredibly well done. So much of this is really so nicely put together. It's just so sad that it comes with such a high setup with this weird hissing with the Bluetooth, sorry, not the Bluetooth. The Bluetooth comes with the electric peanut that's coming, but the hissing that comes with the headset, and then, of course, just the pickup not picking up all 4 strings evenly. But beyond that, otherwise, it's really well made, and it's just a shame that those little details just aren't right, because it could be, number one, a heck of a bargain, but number 2, a really fun tool and a toy for a lot of the work that we do. So I'm going to end this video again with some short clips of me playing, and I won't be talking in those clips at all. And this again is the Ammoon 21-inch electric ukulele, available on eBay, Amazon, and Wish.com.